Studs can mean another thing too out in the world. Apparently, a lot of you think you are, but you're probably really not. Hey, welcome to Slipping Time. Thanks for joining. Today we're going to talk about the right way to put manifold studs in. We're going to replace those. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the timing belt replacement and all the prep that kind of goes in what you need to do that in this particular car. So let's get going. The next thing we're going to do is do some studs removal and put some stainless steel studs in. And I'll just show you what that is right here. What's that? No, I think they're going to know. Really? Well, if you think so, maybe there's woodworking guys out there. Okay, give it to me. All right, so basically, in case you do woodworking and you don't do engines, my wife thought I better mention this, is that this is what's called a stud finder for studs in walls. It has nothing to do with engine work or studs for heads or anything to do with mechanical, okay? Studs are completely different. Thought I better explain that. You just never know. Studs can mean another thing too out in the world. Apparently, a lot of you think you are, but you're probably really not. Anyway, these head studs, I'm sure they're okay, but we got some nice stainless ones we're going to put in. Got some stainless ones to put in too for the thermostat housing. Also, what I'm going to do is, you can see how carboned up those are. I'm going to do some work on there to clean them up as best I can. Make sure the exhaust valves are closed as well. So without further ado, we'll do that. These studs actually have some Torx on them that we can remove using that way. Another method, if you don't have a Torx screwdriver, sometimes I have an Allen as well in set, but usually I think everyone knows this, it has to remove studs, but just double nut them, tighten the nuts, and then take them out and then do the opposite of bringing them in. That's what you're going to see me do. I'm going to remove the studs and then I'll do the clean out of the ports, exhaust manifold ports there. As I'm cleaning these exhaust ports, you're going to notice that I put some rags in, and that's to make sure nothing falls in through the valves that aren't completely closed. I do, what you're not seeing is I go around and I do rotate sometimes, but sometimes you just can't get the valves completely closed in all cases, and so I put rags in, and that's why I'm doing that as I clean those exhaust ports out. Okay, I'm going to apply some studs now, and this will probably have some controversy what I'm about to do. Some people don't like doing this. I like doing it because it just makes life easier. I'm going to use actually copper anti-seize. I am going to apply that and put them in. Hopefully we don't have anything stripped in here. The threads look pretty good. I honestly won't know until I tighten the exhaust manifold for sure, and if any pull out, because we got weak threads, it could be a little bit hairline cracks underneath the thread a little bit. These heads are known to strip the studs, especially the smaller ones, quite a bit. I have helicoils for them if that's what we need to do. I'm going to apply this and start putting them in. And you don't need to put too much, just put a little bit. It helps slide them in, but it also helps not break studs when you're trying to get them out too. There's the finished product. You can see that the exhaust ports are a lot cleaner, and you can say they're a little more polished, but they really already were. The wire wheel, maybe it took a little bit of surface out because it's aluminum, but you can definitely see that it was ported, given there's a bit of a knife edge on here to split the airflow. So there definitely is some good porting that's been done on this. Probably will pull very good. And these are ARP stainless steel studs. No problem, those will not break, and as long as they don't pull out of the head, which they won't, as long as they torque up properly, which I think they will. They felt pretty firm when I put them in. And I did some stainless steel studs on, they aren't ARPs, but they're stainless steel H2 studs for the thermostat housing here as well. That is all I'm going to be doing up till I get basically the exhaust manifold and the turbine that I sent away for, just put it on me here, that I sent away to a place for ceramic coating. And then once I get that back, I can put everything back on that side. The next item while we're in there is I'm going to do the timing, and you're going to find out exactly why timing belts not only are important, but why they take a lot of time and money, and if you do it properly. Now, a lot of people just change the timing belt and don't change out components that have been used for a long time, and that's a culprit as well. And I'll just show you kind of what I'm doing to this particular car. We're making it fairly new. You probably have noticed there is no lower timing cover or top timing cover on that car. I think that's a really bad idea. A lot of people do it for whatever reason. There isn't a lot of weight savings by taking that off. And if something ever bumps in there, gets in there, and breaks your timing belt, it's goodbye engine. So that's just a little bit of a protection. You can think of it as safety, not to get your fingers in things if things are moving, but I actually like to think of it as more of protection of your engine. Not that fingers can be replaced, engines can. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually change the stock dampener. This one probably is aged. They're all aged now, the stock ones, because of the rubber inside them gets quite brittle, and it can cause a catastrophe as well if that ends up stripping out. So we're going to do a nice fluid dampener, since this is going to be a race/strip car. May as well put the ARP bolt in for the crank pulley as well. We've got an idler pulleys we're gonna actually replace as well. There's only one belt. There's no power steering alternator, or sorry, no alternator. There's no AC on this one, so we're gonna replace the alternator belt, we'll call it. Obviously the timing belt itself we're gonna do. While you're in there, because you got to take it all out anyway to get your water pump, do your water pump. Don't cheap out on your water pump, because cooling is very important. Make sure you get at least OEM equivalent. There are some aftermarket stuff out there that is fairly good. Just don't get the cheap stuff. I really suggest OEM. You can still get them, and that's what we're doing here. And it comes with an OEM gasket and also the O-ring for the water pipe. This is going to get a new, I don't know why we have this actually, because we're not gonna need it if I remember right. Oh yeah, we do. Sorry, this is for the water pump. Yeah, the one in there is kind of old and cruddy and I think it's got chips out of it and stuff, so we decided to get a Mitsubishi pulley. While we're in it, we got I think this is actually missing for the adjustment. If I remember right, I'll have to look again, but anyway, we're going to replace that for what it costs, and since we're doing all this as well, that's just to hold the alternator. I think we got the new nut somewhere as well. This is going to be for the dampener as well, the crank dampener. We got ARP studs for that. We do have the nasty oil seals for the cams shafts that are leaking from overhead. A lot of people think it's their valve cover that's leaking, and they go through and they silicone and replace the rubber gaskets in there, which certainly can leak. They usually leak more towards the passenger side, I have found, but a lot of cases that it's actually the camshaft seals on the driver's side where the cam gears are that go to the timing belt. So we're going to replace those, because we do know that it's leaking pretty bad there. And we're going to put some, because we have this nice Zackley, you can get Chinese knockoff ones as well, I guess, but this nice Zackley clear cover to show off. These are just the screws that hook up the lower timing belt cover as well. On this one too, there's going to be a replacement of this for the motor mount on the driver's side. I don't know if we needed to do it, but you can also see I need to replace that stud. What I'm going to do is take that out It's press fitted, and then I'm going to take one out of a parts car that I have, and we'll get that all cleaned up. That's all the parts that are going in. Obviously, we want to make sure it's all timed properly after and everything, and we'll show you when I go through that. But that's going to be the next thing now, is do the timing. For those of you that have done it, you know what this is up against. I've done quite a few of the timing ones in this particular, the 4G60, or these 4G63s. I've done the 7-bolt and the 6 bolts. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing next, and we'll continue on. So that's about it for this episode of Slipping Time. Thanks for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe as we continue on getting this particular car where it needs to be, and a lot of other extra things that I do, obviously, in my videos. And most importantly, enjoy every day and always make it right.